Please like this video. I really need your support right now. It's the only way this story can reach more people. Thank you so much for being here with me and for your support. The garage door was cracked open like someone didn't finish the job. It was a little after 1 a.m. I sat in my rental car for a second, engine ticking down, staring at that gap. No porch light. No sound. The neighborhood looked normal. Quiet cul-de-sac outside Seattle, sleeping houses, the kind of calm that used to make me feel safe. Lauren's car wasn't in the driveway. Not in the street. Not in the garage. I hadn't told her I was coming home early. The seminar ended a day ahead of schedule, and I'd convinced myself it would be a good move. A nice surprise. Also, if I'm honest, I needed to test something. The last few months had been a slow freeze. Fewer conversations. Fewer laughs. Less than anything. Like we were roommates with a mortgage. I killed the lights on the car, slipped my bag out, and walked up the driveway. The garage was open just enough to make me feel like an idiot for even hoping this was nothing. Inside, the house was dark. I didn't turn on a single light. I walked through the entry, past the kitchen, down the hall. Our bedroom door was open. The bed was made. No Lauren. No thrown blanket. No water cup. No. I fell asleep watching something. Just empty space and clean sheets, like a staged photo. I stood there, listening to the silence, and did the simplest thing in the world. I texted her, "Ethan, you home?" The reply came back fast. Too fast. "Lauren, of course. I'm in bed." I looked at the bed. I looked at the darkness. I looked at my phone again like it might suddenly confess the truth on its own. I didn't call. I didn't start a fight. I didn't type a paragraph. I opened my camera, took a selfie with the bed behind me, and sent it. "Ethan, in this bed." That's it. No extra words. No drama. The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, appeared again, then nothing. I set my phone on the dresser and waited. Not pacing, not rage-walking, waiting like a man watching a clock. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have slept in the guest room and saved myself the trouble. But I still had one stubborn piece of hope left, and hope makes you do dumb things quietly. 20 minutes later, the front door slammed hard enough to rattle the hallway picture frames. Lauren came in like she'd been chased. "Are you serious?" She barked before she even hit the bedroom doorway. "You couldn't send a text? You couldn't warn me you were coming home?" She flipped the lights on and looked at me like I was the problem standing in my own house. I stayed where I was. "You told me you were in bed." Her eyes jumped, just for a fraction. Then she snapped right back into anger, like that was safer than thinking. "I was," she insisted. I was about to be. What is this? Some weird gotcha thing." I picked up my phone and held it out, screen facing her. "You said, of course. I'm in bed." That wasn't true. She threw her hands up. "Oh my God. Ethan, stop." "I was at Jenna's." "Jenna's," I repeated. "Yes," she said too quickly. "I fell asleep over there, okay? We were talking, and it got late, and I didn't want to wake you up with some stupid text. I didn't want you to worry." I stared at her for a long second. Her hair was slightly messed up. Not windy outside, messed up. Her coat was open even though it was cold. She was breathing like she'd been running. I nodded once slow. "Makes sense." She blinked. "That's it." "That's it," I said. Her face tightened, like she expected a fight and didn't know what to do without one. "Well," she snapped, "you're welcome for the surprise, I guess. You come home like some detective." I gave her a calm look. "Go to sleep, Lauren. You look tired." She scoffed and moved past me toward the closet. "You're unbelievable." I watched her yank hangers around like she was searching for an excuse. She didn't look at me again. She didn't try to hug me. She didn't ask how my trip went. She just wanted control back. And I let her think she had it. Because the only thing I needed right then was simple. A fact. She lied, smoothly, in real time, while I stood in an empty room. That wasn't a misunderstanding. That wasn't communication issues. That was a choice. And once someone lies that clean, they don't stop. They just get better at it. I waited until she shut herself in the bathroom and turned the shower on. Then I walked out into the living room. That's when I saw the watch. It sat right on the coffee table like it owned the place. Heavy, expensive, bright face catching the faint light from the street. Not mine. Not anything I'd ever buy. The kind of thing a man wears when he likes people noticing his wrist. I didn't touch it at first. I just looked at it. A year ago, Lauren dragged me to one of her company dinners. Her boss had been there, Kevin Rourke. Loud handshake, expensive smile, the kind of guy who calls everyone buddy while counting points in his head. I remembered his watch because it didn't match his outfit. It was too much, like he wanted you to know exactly what his life cost. This watch was the same kind of too much. Same shape, same distinctive band. I picked it up carefully, turned it over. There was a small scratch near the clasp. I remembered that scratch. I set it back down and exhaled through my nose. Not in shock, not in sadness, in clarity. So someone had been in my house. Recently, close enough to my marriage that he left a piece of himself on my table like a cigarette butt. I walked back to the hallway and listened to the shower. Then I went into the kitchen, found a small box in a drawer, and calmly put the watch inside it. Not as a trophy, as a steering wheel. I slid the box into the back of a drawer where Lauren never looked. And I went to bed without saying another word. Morning came like nothing happened. Lauren moved around the kitchen in her robe, scrolling her phone with that casual little half-smile she'd started wearing lately. The one that vanished the second I got within 5 feet. She poured coffee. Didn't offer me any. I poured my own and leaned against the counter. She glanced up. "So, you're home early." "Seminar ended," I replied. "Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still here, please hit the like button. It really helps YouTube recommend this story to more people. Thank you so much for your support. Now, let's get back to the story." She hummed like that was mildly inconvenient. "Must be nice." I took a sip. "You heading out today?" "Yeah," she said, too bright. "I'm doing a sister's day. Shopping, lunch, the usual." "Your sister's?" I repeated, like I was confirming an appointment. She didn't look at me. I nodded again. "I ordered a delivery yesterday. It's supposed to come today. Someone needs to be here to receive it." She finally looked up, annoyed. "Why would you do that without telling me?" I shrugged. "It was a good deal." She rolled her eyes. "Ethan, I already made plans." "I'm not asking you to cancel your day," I replied. "Just be back by 6. In case they need a signature." Her mouth opened like she wanted to argue. Then she shut it again and forced a smile. "Fine. 6. There it was. A clean window. A promise. A version of reality where she believed I was still the same guy, busy, trusting, a little behind. She set her mug down with a clink. "Also, next time, maybe tell your wife you're coming home. Like a normal person." I met her eyes. "Next time I'll consider it." She smirked like she scored a point. "Good." I watched her walk away. Confident. Comfortable. Still thinking she was driving. The first move I made wasn't loud. It was logistical. When she left the house, I didn't sit around spiraling. I grabbed my keys and drove to my buddy Mark's auto shop. Mark's the kind of guy who doesn't ask for a novel. He hears the tone in your voice and opens the bay door. He looked up from under a truck and wiped his hands. "Well, look who survived a work trip." "Barely," I replied, walking in. The smell of oil and metal hit me like a reset button. "You busy?" "Always," he said. "What's up?" I leaned on the counter. "I need a place to keep something. And I need your opinion on whether I'm being played." Mark raised an eyebrow. "That's a 2-part order. What are we talking?" I pulled out my phone, scrolled to the selfie I sent Lauren, and showed him the timestamp. Then I told him the short version. Empty bed, confident lie, watch on the coffee table. Mark didn't whistle, didn't make jokes. He just nodded slowly like he was fitting pieces together. "Doesn't sound like you're being paranoid," he said. "Sounds like you're late to the party." "I'm not interested in a shouting match," I told him. "I'm interested in the truth showing up without me begging for it." Mark leaned back. "So you're setting a trap." "I'm setting a stage," I corrected. "Big difference." He smirked. "Look at you, Mr. Suburban Theater." I gave him a flat look. "I'm not laughing." "I'm not either," he said, tone changing. "What do you need?" I pulled the small box from my jacket. "Hold this for me. If anything happens and I need it, you're my backup." Mark took it, felt the weight, and his eyes narrowed. "That's not yours." "Nope." He nodded once. "All right. I've got it." I exhaled. "Also, I need a favor. Tonight." Mark looked amused now. "You finally throwing a party?" "Something like that," I replied. "And I need it quiet. No gossip." Mark tapped the counter. "Ethan, I fix cars. I don't host reality shows." "I'm not asking you to host," I said. "I'm asking you to be available. If I call, you come. No questions." Mark studied me for a moment, then nodded. I'll come. That right there was foreign territory for me. His shop, his space. And I didn't go there to cry. I went there to lock in support and remove any chance of me doing something stupid alone. On the drive back, I made the calls that mattered. First, Lauren's parents, Greg and Denise. They're the kind of people who still send thank you cards and think marriage is a sacred contract. They always liked me. Part of me hated what I was about to do to their image of their daughter. But I didn't create this problem. I was just done protecting it. Greg answered, Ethan, everything okay? Everything's good. I replied in that calm, nothing to see here voice. I want to do something nice for Lauren. Little surprise tonight. She's been doing some volunteer stuff lately, and I want to celebrate her. Denise jumped in on speaker, already excited. Oh, that's so sweet. It'll be low-key, I said. Just family, a couple friends. I want you there around 6. Park down the street and come through the back. No lights. No knocking. I want her to walk in and see everyone. Greg chuckled. You're going all out. I'm trying, I replied. It'll mean a lot to her. Denise sighed happily. We'll be there. What can we bring? Just yourselves, I said. And keep it quiet. Then her sisters, Megan and Talia. Megan is sharp and suspicious by default. Talia is the cheerful one who thinks everyone is doing their best. 2 different worlds. Megan answered first. Ethan, what's the catch? No catch, I replied. Surprise for Lauren. Tonight. 6. Back door. Megan paused. Why do I feel like you're lying? I didn't miss a beat. Because you assume everyone has an angle. She snorted. Fair. What's the surprise? Celebration, I said. Be there. Talia squealed when she got the message. Oh my God, she's going to cry. Hopefully the good kind, I replied. Then I called 2 of Lauren's close friends. Jenna. Yes, that Jenna. And a woman named Priya. Priya is blunt in a way that makes people straighten their posture. Jenna is. Jenna. Always smiling, always busy, always full of soft excuses. Priya answered. Ethan, what's going on? A surprise thing for Lauren, I said. Tonight. 6. Quiet entrance. Priya's tone sharpened. Why do you sound like you're reading off a script? I smiled slightly. Because I don't want you freelancing. Priya laughed once. All right. I'm in. Jenna answered with a breathy, overly sweet, hi. Like we were old friends. Hey, I replied. Quick thing. I'm doing a surprise for Lauren tonight. Family, friends. 6 p.m. Back door. Oh my gosh, she said. That's adorable. Park down the street, I added. No lights. No texts to her. Jenna giggled. Of course. Your secret's safe. I ended the call and stared at my phone for a second. The irony almost made me laugh. Almost. Now for the final call. The one that turned a suspicion into a closed loop. Natalie Rourke answered on the 3rd ring. Her voice was polite, professional, the kind you use when you don't know if the caller is selling something. Hello. Hi, I said. Natalie, this is Ethan Brooks, Lauren's husband. A beat, then warmth. Oh, hi. Yes, of course. How are you? Good, I replied. Listen, I know this is a little random, but I'm putting together a small surprise tonight for Lauren. It's kind of a family and friends thing. I wanted to include you, because I know work has been a big part of her life lately. Natalie laughed lightly. That's very thoughtful. I also spoke with Kevin. I said, smooth and steady. He's going to be part of it. I'm trying to pull off a he came early moment. A double surprise. Natalie sounded genuinely pleased. Oh my God, he didn't tell me. That's the point, I replied. If you can be here around 6, park down the street, come through the back, it'll land. Natalie chuckled. This is so sweet. Yes, I'll be there. Great, I said. And please, no text to Kevin or Lauren. I want their faces when they walk in. Understood, she replied. Ethan, seriously, this is lovely. Happy to do it, I said. I ended the call and set my phone down. That was the kill switch moment for me. Not anger, not tears, just a hard decision becoming real. Because if I was wrong, I'd look like a paranoid husband throwing an awkward party. And if I was right, the truth would walk through my front door like it paid rent. Late afternoon, Lauren came back to the house like a woman who believed she had the world arranged. She walked in with shopping bags, humming, cheeks flushed from the cold, and immediately started talking like the morning never happened. Your delivery ever come? She asked, tossing her keys onto the counter. Not yet, I replied. Could be late. She glanced at the clock. I'm starving. Snack tray in the fridge, I said. She stopped. You made snacks? Don't get emotional, I replied. It's just food. She actually smiled. A small one. The kind that used to mean something. Then she stepped closer and touched my arm. Lightly, like she was testing if I still belonged to her. That selfie last night, she said, voice softer. That was a lot. I didn't move. It was a question. She lowered her gaze. I shouldn't have snapped. I was tired. There it was. The first illusion. A little apology. A little warmth. Delivered right after she realized I might not be asleep at the wheel. I nodded once. Okay. She leaned in like she meant to kiss me, then paused, watching my face for permission. I didn't give it. Her eyes flashed annoyance again, quick. So you're still mad? I'm not mad, I replied. I'm paying attention. She pulled back like my words were rude. Wow. Okay. She walked past me and started rummaging for plates. Busy hands. Busy voice. Control mode. What time is that delivery supposed to be? She asked. Anytime, I replied. Lauren huffed. So I'm just supposed to sit here all night. I kept my voice even. You told me you'd be back by 6. I am back, she snapped. God, Ethan, you're acting like you're my dad. I looked at her. No, I'm acting like this is my house too. She stared at me like she wanted a fight, then forced a laugh. You're so dramatic lately. Sure, I replied. She rolled her eyes and grabbed a bottle of sparkling water from the fridge. Whatever. I'm going to take a quick shower. Do what you need, I said. She walked away, and I watched her go, calm as a stone. Because the second illusion was coming later. Bigger, louder, and fake as ever. Around 6, the backyard started filling quietly. Greg and Denise arrived first, tiptoeing like teenagers. Denise hugged me and whispered, "This is adorable, Ethan," like she didn't notice my eyes were too steady for romance. Megan arrived with Talia and immediately scanned the house like a cop. Megan leaned in close to me and murmured, "If this is some kind of intervention, blink twice." I gave her a thin smile. Just play your part. Priya came in next, carrying a small tray of cookies. She looked at me, then at my expression, and her face shifted. "This isn't about volunteering," she whispered. "Nope," I replied. Priya's jaw tightened. "Do you want me here?" "I want witnesses," I said quietly. Priya nodded once. "Then I'm here." Jenna slipped in last, eyes wide, grin pasted on. She looked nervous, and for the first time, she didn't look like she had a script ready. "Lauren's going to freak," she whispered. "Probably," I replied. I guided everyone to the back patio. Simple snacks, a few sodas, water, nothing fancy. Chairs spaced out. Quiet instructions. "Stay back here," I told them. "When she walks in, don't rush the door. Give it a second." Greg chuckled softly. "You're really planning this?" "Yeah," I replied. "I'm done winging it." Then Natalie arrived. She wore a neat coat, hair done, polite smile. She looked like someone coming to a work-adjacent social thing, not a gut punch. She hugged Denise, shook Greg's hand, exchanged quick hellos with the sisters. Natalie turned to me. "So Kevin's coming too?" "Yeah," I replied. "He'll be right on time." Natalie smiled. "He's been so busy lately. I hardly see him." I held her gaze. "Tonight's going to clear that up." She laughed lightly like I was joking. I wasn't. I went inside and took my position near the hallway, angled so I could see the front door and the glass door to the patio. My phone was in my hand. Camera ready. Not for entertainment. For insurance. At 7:28, I heard the front door unlock. At 7:29, it opened. Lauren stepped in first, laughing. Not a small laugh. A free laugh. The kind I hadn't heard in months. Kevin Rourke walked in behind her like he belonged there. He was tall, well-dressed, confident. He had that relaxed grin men get when they think they're untouchable. His hand slid around Lauren's waist like it was routine. Lauren didn't pull away. She leaned into him. "Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still here, please hit the like button. It really helps YouTube recommend this story to more people. Thank you so much for your support. Now, let's get back to the story." Okay, she said, laughing. "Just don't be loud." Kevin chuckled. "Your house is quiet. Relax." They kissed right there in the entryway. Casual. Like they'd done it before. Like the walls were used to it. Lauren tossed her coat onto the couch. Kevin started unbuttoning his shirt as he walked, like the night was already decided. That's when I opened the glass door to the patio. Hard. Fast. The sound cut through the house like a slap. Lauren and Kevin froze. Outside, the backyard was full of people. Denise had her hands over her mouth. Greg's face was pale and tight. Megan looked like she wanted to set something on fire. Talia looked like she couldn't understand what her eyes were showing her. Priya's expression was pure disgust, calm and sharp. Jenna looked like she might faint. And Natalie? Natalie stepped forward one pace, eyes locked on Kevin like her brain refused to accept it. Kevin, she said, voice thin. Kevin's face drained so fast, it was almost impressive. His mouth opened, but no sound came out at first. Lauren whispered, "Oh my God," like she was the one being attacked. Natalie's voice rose. "Kevin, what is this?" Lauren's head snapped toward me. "Ethan, what the hell is this?" I kept my phone up, recording, steady as a tripod. Kevin found his voice in pieces. "Natalie, listen, this isn't." Natalie cut him off, sharp. Don't do that. Don't talk like I'm stupid." Lauren moved like she wanted to run to the bedroom. She took 2 steps, then stopped when she saw Megan staring her down like a judge. Denise's voice broke. "Lauren, in your home?" Lauren's eyes flicked to her mother, then away. "Mom, please." Greg spoke, low and heavy. "Don't Mom please your way out of this." Lauren turned back to me, anger flaring because shame wasn't working. "You set me up." I nodded once. "You set yourself up." Kevin stepped forward, palms out, trying to manage the room. "Ethan, man, let's talk." I looked at him like he was something stuck to my shoe. "Don't call me man. You're in my house with your shirt open. You lost the right to casual." Natalie's eyes were wet now, but her voice was hard. "How long?" Kevin swallowed. "Natalie, how long?" she repeated louder. Lauren jumped in, desperate. This is being blown up. It's not like that." Megan laughed once, bitter. "Oh, it's not like that? Because it looks exactly like that." Talia whispered. "Lauren, why?" Priya didn't whisper. "Because she thought she could." Lauren shot Priya a glare. "Stay out of this." Priya stepped forward, calm. "I'm watching you tell everyone they're wrong while you're standing in the middle of the proof." Natalie's gaze went to Lauren. "You knew he was married." Lauren's mouth tightened. "I'm not talking to you." Natalie's expression shifted into something colder. "Of course you're not." Kevin tried again, voice trembling into a fake authority. "Ethan, I'm sorry." I held up one finger. "Stop talking. You're done." Kevin blinked. "Excuse me." I pointed toward the front door. "Get out of my house." Lauren snapped. "You can't just." I didn't even look at her. "Yes, I can." Kevin glanced at Natalie like he wanted permission to escape. Natalie didn't give him anything, just stared, shaking her head like she was watching a stranger. Kevin grabbed his coat, hands clumsy, and walked toward the door. He paused, turning back like he wanted to salvage dignity. I lifted my phone slightly. "Keep walking." He left. Lauren stood there in the entryway, surrounded by people who had loved her, who had defended her, who had believed her. Now they just looked at her like she'd changed species. Denise started crying quietly. Greg put an arm around her, face like stone. Megan shook her head. "You're unbelievable." Lauren's voice went high. "You're all acting like I'm some monster." Priya replied, calm and cutting. "No, we're acting like you did something you can't undo." Natalie wiped her face once, quick and practical. She looked at me. "Thank you," she said, voice shaking but clear. I nodded. "You deserve to know." Natalie looked past me at Lauren, then back at the group. "I'm leaving," she said. "I can't stand here." Greg's voice was low. "We're leaving too." The backyard emptied slowly. Not with gossip, with stunned silence. People walking away from a broken picture. Lauren stayed inside, breathing hard, eyes wild, trying to find a handle to grab. When the last car pulled away, I walked to the patio, sat down, and opened a soda. Just a normal sound in a night that wasn't normal. Lauren came out a few minutes later, fully dressed now, makeup smeared, hair rushed back. She looked like she'd been in a storm and wanted someone else to pay for the weather. She stepped toward me. "So that was your plan? Humiliate me?" I lifted one hand. Not aggressive, not dramatic, just a boundary. She stopped, jaw tight. "Don't do that. Don't act calm like you're some hero." I took a sip, set the can down, and looked at her. You lied to my face last night. Her voice cracked. I didn't want you to freak out. I didn't freak out, I replied. I adjusted. She scoffed through tears. You're always gone. You're married to your job. I nodded slowly. And you're married to your convenience. Lauren flinched like that landed. She tried again, faster. You don't understand what it's been like. I'm alone. I'm sitting here while you're. I cut her off, voice flat. If you wanted different, you had years to say it straight. You chose lies instead. She stepped closer, hands shaking. It didn't go far. It wasn't. I held my hand up again. Don't. You brought him into our house. Lauren's eyes flashed anger again because she couldn't control the room anymore. You planned this. That's sick. I nodded once. What's sick is you thinking you could keep a stable home and a secret life at the same time. She stared at me, and for a second she looked scared. Not of losing me emotionally, of losing what I provided. She swallowed. So what now? I leaned back in the chair. Now you sleep somewhere else. Her mouth fell open. You can't just kick me out. I didn't kick you out, I replied. I set a rule. You broke the foundation. You don't get the benefits. She laughed, bitter. Wow, you're really doing this. Yes, I said. I am. She stood there, trembling, eyes searching for a crack in me. I gave her none. Before dawn, she left. No note. No goodbye. Just the sound of the front door closing like she was still trying to control the last scene. 2 days later, she came back in daylight like she thought daylight made things negotiable. I was in the kitchen, wiping down the counters. Simple task. Simple mind. Lauren walked in carefully, like a guest. Ethan, she said softly. Can we talk? I didn't look up. You can talk. I'm not debating. She swallowed. I'm changing jobs. Kevin's, it's complicated. I can't even show my face there. I finally looked at her. That's consequences, not complexity. Her eyes watered. I'm embarrassed. You should be, I replied. Not cruel, just accurate. She stepped closer and tried the second illusion. Bigger, heavier, wrapped in sweetness. I made your favorite dinner, she said quickly, pointing at a bag on the counter. I thought we could just sit. Like before. No pressure. I'm trying. I stared at the bag, then at her. You're trying now because everyone saw, I said. Not because you suddenly grew a conscience. Lauren's lips trembled. That's not fair. I nodded slowly. Fair left the building when you lied to me in our bedroom. She stepped forward, reaching for my hand. Please. I'm here. I'm choosing us. I pulled my hand back without any drama. Just a clean withdrawal. You chose yourself, I replied. You chose comfort. You chose status. You chose not getting caught. She flinched. So you're just throwing everything away? I nodded once. No. You did. I'm just cleaning up. Her voice sharpened. So that's it. You're perfect? You've never done anything wrong. I gave her a small, tired smile. I'm not perfect. I'm just not a liar. Lauren's face hardened. You're cold. I shrugged. I'm clear. She stared at me like she wanted to scream, but she knew screaming wouldn't work. So she tried the last angle. Is there any chance, she asked carefully, that in the future, we could? I cut her off, calm. Regret shows up when consequences are already at the door. Choices happen when nobody's watching. She blinked rapidly. Ethan. I shook my head once. We're done. Lauren stood there, breathing hard, then turned and walked out without slamming anything. Even she understood the show was over. That afternoon, I changed the house like it was a business decision. I moved her things into the guest room. I boxed up photos that didn't feel real anymore. I changed the guest room lock. I updated my routines. Not as punishment, as structure. Mark came by that evening with the box. He set it on the counter and nodded at it. Want to see it again? No, I replied. I already saw enough. Mark leaned on the doorway. You okay? I gave him a dry look. Define okay. He smirked, still standing. Then I'm fine, I replied. A week later, Natalie texted me. Short message. No drama. She asked if I could meet for coffee. Public place. Daytime. Practical. We sat across from each other at a small table, two adults dealing with the mess other people made. Natalie stirred her coffee once and said, I kept replaying it. The moment I saw them, I felt stupid. I shook my head. You weren't stupid. You were trusting. She nodded, eyes tired. Thank you for not letting him spin it. I didn't do it for revenge, I replied. I did it because I refused to argue with a lie. Natalie gave a small, sad smile. Same. We didn't talk long. We didn't trade sob stories. We didn't pretend we were suddenly best friends. Just two people closing a chapter without begging it to reopen. Months passed. The house got quieter, but it got cleaner too, emotionally. No tension fog. No phone laughter that cut off when I walked in. No living with a woman who looked at me like an obstacle to manage. Work stabilized. I stopped volunteering for trips that drained me. I bought a truck I actually liked. I started playing pickup basketball with Mark and a couple guys from the neighborhood on Saturdays. Simple. Real. And eventually, I met someone. Her name was Rachel. She didn't play games with timing or tone. If she had a problem, she said it like an adult. If she wanted to be with me, she showed it with consistency, not theater. One night, sitting on my own back patio, Rachel leaned her head on my shoulder and said, "You're really calm. Like solid." I smiled. I'm not calm. I'm just not confused anymore. As for Lauren, I heard things through the same quiet neighborhood channels people pretend they don't use. She bounced between places. She lost the image she worked so hard to protect. Friends stopped answering. Family kept distance. The comfort she tried to keep while running a second life didn't survive daylight. And I didn't celebrate that. I didn't need to. My closure was simple. She wanted to keep the house, the husband, the reputation, and the secret all at once. I made sure she had to choose. And when she lost control, I didn't yell. I just closed the door and kept my life.